What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football. Houston Texans football. But before we get that, I want to send a big shout out to my boys out there on Saw Sports. My boy Honcho, Wink, the rest of the round table. The boys had Seth Payne, original Houston Texan on there, former Houston Texan, original Houston Texan, Seth Payne on there. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, Seth Payne. If you're watching, shout out for going on there and being on there with my bros from Saw Sports. It was a great show. Lovely show, one of the best shows. It was a great show. I appreciate that. Saw Sports, like I said before, the best sport talk in and out the city. And I'm just happy to be a part of that. Also, shout out to everybody out there who subscribed to your boy last night. Me being on the road to my first 1K. I'm only 34 away because I think I'm only 34 away as of the recording of this video. So I appreciate all the people who showed me love last night, subscribing. People comment on my videos, telling me they subscribe because they were watching. I appreciate all the love like that. So let's get it. So, Honcho, because this video is for you, man. We're going to talk about quarterbacks right now. I know it's Cowboy week. I know it's the Texans versus the Cowboys. And a lot of people have been, hey, what's your prediction about the game? I want to do something a little different. Instead of talking about the upcoming game, I want to compare something, especially with, this is probably the first time that I can remember. I mean, no, it's not the first time I remember. It's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time that both the Texans and the Cowboys at the same time have a starting black quarterback. First time in Houston sports, period. Because when the Oilers were here and you had Warren Moon and you had Steve McNair, you had Troy Aikman. Then you had Quincy Carter in Dallas. You had David Carr. Now you have Deshaun Watson. You have Dak Prescott. So let's talk about it. Let's break down these two quarterbacks. Let's break down which quarterback is the real one, which one's the Fugazi one, especially because they both wear number 4. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson versus Ryan Dakota Prescott. Yes, that's his real name, Ryan. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because, you know, I know a lot of people out there, you do watch Undisputed or First Take or First Things First, and those other shows on ESPN or Fox Sports. You know, it's a lot of Cowboy fans that they know, like Will Kane, Skip Bayless, the most dominant, the most vocal. And him and Shannon had a segment talking about this. Well, talking about Dak's game last week on Monday. And Skip was just raving about Dak and just talking about how good Dak was. Until Shannon said, Skip, it's the first time he threw for 200 yards all year. I'm like, nah, that can't be true. I mean, we 4 games of the season. I know a lot of people call him Dink and Dak, but I know he can throw for 200 yards more. And then I actually looked it up, and I seen his numbers, and I'm like, wow, he's extremely pedestrian as far as his numbers go. I mean, if you want to go into the numbers, you go week 1 against Carolina, at Carolina, 170 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Quarterback rating of 81. Second game, home against the Giants on Sunday Night Football. 160, a touchdown, no interceptions, 95.4 quarterback rating. In that game there, 64 of his yards, I think came on the first play to Tavon Austin. After that means you threw 96 yards for 4 quarters. 96 yards in 4 quarters. Week 3 at Seattle, 168 yards, 1 interception, 2 picks, a 58 quarterback rating. A 54 quarterback rating. And then the last week against Detroit at home, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 118 quarterback rating. Those numbers seem a lot pedestrian. I know a lot of Cowboy fans out there going to say, hey, we don't got no receivers. Dad's gone. We ain't got no receivers. We got Beasley. We got Tavon Austin. We don't got no real receivers. No, like, that is true. But those numbers are kind of, what's the word I want to use? They're kind of Brock Osweiler's numbers. Outside of the picks, Brock Osweiler threw a lot of picks, touchdowns. But those yards, like, I don't care how bad your receivers are. If you're a strong quarterback in this league, I expect you to get over 200 yards a couple of times. Like, I understand you're going to have a bad game here. And then I know they got Zeke. I know they got the beat Zeke back there. But they haven't really been running Zeke the way they normally should be running Zeke. So it's really like they don't, to me, it feels more so they don't trust a player like Prescott as far as throwing the ball downfield enough. And then if you're talking about not having no weapons, That's the organization's fault. Just like how in Houston, we have problems. We ain't got no secondary. We ain't got no corners. That's an organizational's fault. And we ain't got no offensive line. That's an organizational fault. But when you are in position to get players, like why they didn't take Cortland Sutherland with the first pick? I'm from Brenham, where Cortland Sutherland is from. So I know a lot of Cowboy fans down here are extremely pissed. Especially, I know they were pissed during the draft, but watching the way the season's unfolded, like why didn't you draft a receiver like Cortland, who grew up a Cowboy fan, if I'm not mistaken? Why don't y'all bring him into the fold? This big body receiver, over 200 pounds, 6'3", 6'4" type receiver, big body, big rangy guy, similar to a Dez Bryant. That same type of build. Why don't you bring that guy here? That seems like somebody who'd be perfect for a player like Dak, because he won't have to throw the ball downfield. He just throw it up and try to get him to get 50-50 balls. But since we're in a comparing mood, let's compare to the other quarterback that wears number 4 in the state of Texas, Derek Deshaun. At New England, week 1, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 62 quarterback rating. We can all agree that was a pretty pedestrian game. Like I said, I think it was more rust from the preseason. Also, the pass rush was getting to him, not offensive line. Second game against Tennessee, at Tennessee. Ooh, starting to look like a really good defense, with them being 3-1. 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, quarterback rating 107. At home against the Giants, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, quarterback rating 98.4. And then last week at Indy, 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, with a quarterback rating 102. Total season quarterback rating 93. Dax, I think, is at 85. So, now I know people say, well, y'all got Will Fuller. Y'all got DeAndre Hopkins. Now we got Kiki QT. Yes, those things are true. But they're putting the ball in Deshaun's hands. And Deshaun, to be honest, is more of a playmaker. Like, Dak, to me, seems like the type of quarterback who only takes what the defense gives him. He's a systematic quarterback. He's only going to play the way the system is structured. And I think Deshaun's a playmaker. He's a guy who's going to take his shots. That's the reason why he has so many picks. That's the reason why he has 4 picks. He takes shots. Now, some of those shots he shouldn't have took, like the one at New England, the one at against the Giants, and the one against Tennessee. The one against Indy, I kind of put that one more so on Hop, because Deshaun had to throw it behind, because the way the defender was, the linebacker was posted, he had to throw it behind to give Hop a better chance of getting it, because if you threw it in front, it definitely would have been a pick. So he had to throw it behind. It was just Hop just did a bad job of fighting for the ball, and the Indy defender came up with the pick. So I really don't too much fault him on that one. Maybe you could fault him on the side to throw the ball, but the throw was all right. He threw how he was supposed to throw. It was just that Hop should have made a better play. The one against Tennessee, he had Bruce Ellington wide open in the end zone, because Bruce Ellington beat Malcolm Butler. That was a touchdown. That's why that one was so crucial. Also, the one against the Giants, it was on second down. You're in the red zone. That one was crucial. The one against the Colts, we were up by 2 touchdowns, I think, and then the Colts didn't even get any points off of that. And then you end up winning the game, so it didn't hurt you. So therefore, you don't want him to throw that pick, but everything still worked out in your favor as far as the outcome of the game. But just to saying that he is a playmaker, he's a guy who makes plays. He's a guy who makes plays with his legs, makes plays with his arm. Dak doesn't. Now I know Skip is out there hollering that he wants Dak to run more read option. Like Shannon says, when you got a player like Zeke, why would you want your quarterback to run when you got arguably one of the top 3 running backs in the league? My personal opinion, I think Todd Gurley is the best running back. But if you say Zeke is the best running back, I'm not going to argue with you, because Zeke is a damn good running back. I might be a Texan fan, but you know what I'm saying, I'm going to call a spade, and I'm going to give people their props and give people their credit when they deserve it. And Zeke is a damn good running back. I would love to have Zeke on Texas. Zeke is a damn good running back. He got a little issues with the way he dressed. Them half shirts look like them damn cheerleaders from Longest Yard. But he's a damn good football player. And he's at least the number 2 back, if not the number 1 back. So why would you want him? Why would you want to take the ball out of his hands to run it with your quarterback? Now I can see taking the ball out of his hands to pass with your quarterback, but why take the ball out of his hands to run with your quarterback and put your quarterback in danger, danger of getting hurt? That's, to me, that's, you want him to be Deshaun Watson. You want him to be Cam Newton. You want him to be a Michael Vick type player, and he's not that. Yes, he can run when he needs to. I've seen Dak run. Dak can run when he needs to. But, and I think a lot of Cowboy fans that I've talked to, like Cowboy fans, like 50-50 on Dak. Some like Dak. Some, we should have kept Romo. I've heard that from a lot of Cowboy fans. Now, I know fans are very reactionary. You know, you got to take what fans say with a grain of salt, because like I always say about fans, either going to be overcritical or over apologetic of their team. So you gotta take what they say with a grain of salt. But using my eye test, and I actually, to be honest, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually like that. Coming out the draft, I actually liked it. That I didn't think he was a first round talent. I thought he went exactly what he should have went, third or fourth roundish type of quarterback, a guy who you use as a project, and he impressed me his rookie year. And for people who say like that he fell off from last year, last year he fell off from his rookie year, and I was looking at his stats and looking at the way he played last year and the way he played his rookie year. The rookie, when he won rookie of the year, he had 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, 4 picks. Last year, he had 3,300 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Now, interceptions went up, one less touchdown. But they're pretty much similar to the same player, like the same yards and everything was pretty much in the same boat except the interceptions. And of course the wins. His rookie year they went 13-3. But we all know one of the real reasons why they went 13-3 is because of Zeke. And he shouldn't have won rookie of the year. They should have gave rookie to Zeke. Like, there's no reason why Dak should have been rookie of the year. Look at the way he plays and looking like there's no way. And looking also the way Zeke plays, there's no way he should have been rookie of the year. That rookie year definitely should have went to Zeke. It should have. It should never went to Dak. But in my personal opinion, Dak he's not a game manager. He's above being a game. I think he's slightly above being a game manager, but he's not a playmaker, and it's just what it is. He's not a playmaker. He has a better offensive line than the Texans. He doesn't have the weapons that the Texans have. But I think even if he had the weapons that the Texans had, I don't think he would be pulling out 375 yards, 385 yards, all these touchdowns. I think his interceptions will be less than Deshaun. I think he will always have less interceptions than Deshaun because he's not going to take as many chances as Deshaun will take. Deshaun is going to take chances because he's going to try to make plays. Like Favre did. Favre took chances because he's trying to make plays. Some players don't, like Alex Smith. He's basically a black Alex Smith. So he's basically Tyrod Taylor without running the football. Dak Prescott is like Tyrod Taylor without running the football. That's exactly what he is. But because he plays for the Cowboys, because he plays with that star on his helmet, he's going to get all the attention he's going to get. So that's really like what he really is. He's really the black Alex Smith, the Tyrod Taylor that doesn't run the football. And just, he can run the football, but he's not that type of player. So he's a player who's not going to take chances, not going to take risks. When you have a player like Deshaun's going to take chances. He's going to run the football. He's going to take chances. He's going to take risks. He's going to throw the ball in double coverage. He's going to hold on to the ball a little bit too long because he's always trying to make a play. And he said himself, he doesn't look to run. He looks to throw the ball. And that's the one reason why he holds on the ball a little bit too long. So there's going to be some situations as Texans fans we're going to be, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. But he's trying to make a play. And sometimes you do need to just, live for the next down. So you want a little bit of both. You don't want that whole conservative style all the time, because if you do that, you're going to leave a lot of plays on the field. Like, damn, we took a shot here, we took a shot there, we could have won this game. And vice versa when it comes to being a gunslinger and taking too many chances. Because you take too many chances, you're going to end up with mistakes. And you're like, damn, man, if we would have just held on and did this right here, we probably would have won the game. So you got to find the happy medium. And to be honest, seeing players like Matt Schaub, for as long as we've seen Matt Schaub, seeing early Case Keenum, seeing Ryan Mallett and Hoyer and Brock Osweiler, for as long as we've seen the Texan fans, Tom Savage, I don't mind my quarterback taking chances, especially when I know he has the capability and the talent around him to make those plays. Just need to shore up the offensive line. Of course, there's gonna be some things. It's gonna be some Monday mornings when I'm be looking back and watching the film like, damn, Deshaun, you shouldn't have did that. This is where you fucked up at. And I'm gonna hold you accountable to what you need to be held accountable for. But for the most part, I'm not giving up. And for the most part, I think he's the better quarterback, and I like for him to make those risque plays, because sometimes he's going to make those plays and you be like, damn, I'm glad he made that play. It is what it is. And I think that when you compare these two, when you sit there and compare these two, and you have a guy who I think is more system built and a guy who I think who builds a system, who if you keep trying to put him in the box that Bill O'Brien keeps trying to play him in, you're going to end up hurting him. I understand that from a standpoint, because he actually looks like, I know a lot of people like, what's happened to Deshaun? Deshaun's fell off. A lot of people in national media be like, oh, maybe we were too hype on Deshaun. Deshaun's actually playing better this year than he did last year. The reason why, because last year he played like, the first game of the season he didn't play. He played only half a game. Second game, short week against Cincinnati. Okay. That third week when we played against New England, we had this coming out party. We start implementing the Clemson offense. We just threw the Clemson offense in there. We threw some type of those new inventive plays and nice plays, a lot of backfield action, all that nice fine stuff, read option, all that good fine stuff. And you seen the guy who ended up becoming the 19 touchdowns in a 6-game span. This year here, week 1 against New England, week 2, and week 3, we didn't do that. We tried to play that same boring Bill O'Brien offense. And for the most part, outside week 1, Deshaun was handling it enough. It looked it better than it did during the preseason last year. Because the way he kind of played is similar to the preseason. And he looked it better when he's getting a year older. And I think he can handle the offense more. Now, we seen last week when the offense looked at much better. We did more things offensively, also with the addition of Kiki. But I told y'all, Kiki was going to get a lot of backfield action plays. I told you that before the season started, that look out for Kiki, because the way I knew they were going to use him the way they used him at Tech. That he's going to have a lot of backfield action. This was the best game that he looked at so far this season. And that was barely with the Clemson offense. So I think that for the most part, once we get later on to the season, he's going to be able to run, I guess, what you call a prototypical pro-style offense. He's going to be more comfortable in the offense. But we don't have the offensive line to take care of that. So that's probably another reason why you need some of that backfield action, because you need to unload the pressure off. And like the offensive line looked better against Indy. Still didn't look like a legitimate offensive line, but it looked better than it looked for the previous 3 weeks. You could win because you won. You could win with that offensive line. My issue more so was that secondary, because the way you made Andrew Luck look, the way you made Andrew Luck feel. And I think now that you're going to give Andrew Luck the wind beneath his wings, you're going to give him, like, okay, I can play football again. I threw for 400 yards. I threw the ball 66 times. I can play football again. You're going to build that confidence, instill that confidence back in Luck. And I think that's more so the secondary's fault and Romeo Cannell's fault. And I think that's going to be an even bigger storyline, a bigger issue coming into the offseason next year and coming to the season next year. I've been saying this for the past 2 years. I've been saying this all summer about the secondary. I backed off on the secondary because of the beginning of the season, seeing how atrocious the offensive line looked. But I think the offensive line can look similarly better. Not good enough, because I still think that you're still going to have to draft some tackles and get some tackles or do something come free agency and draft this year when you got 2 second-round picks and a first-round pick. But this past week looked it better than the 3 previous weeks. I don't really have a prediction for this game, because the reason why I don't want to be honest with you, because the 3 games I did prediction to, we ended up losing, and last week I didn't do a prediction. We ended up winning. So I'm going to hold off of doing predictions for a while maybe. But this is more so a comparison of Dak versus Deshaun. Well, Deshaun versus Dak, however you want to say it. I think when it comes out to the end, that Deshaun is the better quarterback. He's the better thrower of the football, like Shannon said. He's definitely the most mobile. I think he's the more accurate. And the most important thing, he's the better playmaker. He's a guy who I think can make all type of plays, when I think Dak is a guy who was built off a system. I think it's a systematic quarterback. He takes what the defense gives him, and I think he's like Alex Smith and Tyrod Taylor. He's a guy who's not going to turn the ball over, but he's also a guy who's not going to make you plays. And to get the most out of Dak, you need Zeke. You need to get him some playmakers. Because Deshaun doesn't have a Zeke. And Deshaun doesn't have an offensive line. Yeah, he has Hopkins. Yeah, he has Will Fuller. Outside of Hopkins, people and Texan fans was talking about that Will Fuller was a bust. I don't even think he should get a fifth-year option contract. He looks like a Pro Bowl player when he's playing with Deshaun, don't he? This offense last year was the same offense that Brock Osweiler had. Basically the same offense that Brian Hoyer had. And Deshaun may look 10 times better. Because he's the playmaker. He really is. He's a playmaker. And that's what he is. So he's the real quarterback in this situation, in this equation. And I don't want to say Dak is Fugazi, but we all know who the real number 4 is, don't we? Like, share, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I'll holler.